Hi, Jeremy here from the Golfing Curriculum. Now, if there's one thing that golfers want, it is consistency. And this video is all about how you're actually much more consistent than you think, but not necessarily in a good way. We're going to be talking about swing path. What I'll describe is the correct swing path, and then the pattern of shots that you get when you deviate from it. So if your pattern of shots is either of these, you slice, you pull, you top, but you've actually got a great short game, or if you're good at driving and bad at chipping, then this is the video for you. This will explain everything. So the swing path is simply the path that the club follows during the swing, certainly through impact. And what we want is that the club comes from the same spot here, like a door closing, to impact, where it's square, and traveling in the direction that we want, back to the same spot here. So you can think of it as being a mirror image on either side, and that can be done by hitting parallel here, up over the shoulder here, back down to parallel, and then through to parallel here, and also up over the other shoulder. That will create a straight shot, assuming, of course, a good grip, which is the subject of another video. I'll put a link at the end. And if you do those two things, you have a chance that the ball will go straight. Now, let's find out what happens, and you might be able to recognize yourself when we talk about this. What happens when we make an error? We're not in to square to in, either in to out or out to in. What happens then? Let's talk about out to in first, because that's the most common, the slices. So let's look at the slice first. It's the most common. If we swing out to in across the red line, down on the ground there, then we will get a pattern of shots, which includes the slice, and it would kind of be okay if you always got that, but you'll get a slice if at impact you deliver the club slightly open. If you release the club on that line, then of course if you square it up, then the ball is going to go quite a long way left. The other thing that coming across the ball like this does is steepens the angle of attack. The club comes down in a hurry, which is the last thing that we want to do with the driver. Everything we do at address is to help us hit the ball on the level, and if the swing path takes it down, then you could get a top. You're not going to get a great energy transfer. It's causing you distance, but it's not causing just one shot. The game would be much more predictable if it did, but unfortunately you'll get pulls to the left, low, you'll get curves to the right, you'll get tops, and you'll also get the occasional pop-up where the ball goes maybe 100 yards and a sky, and what you've done then is made contact on the top of the club that way. Yeah, and the ball's just popped up. Now, that pattern of shots is unpredictable, but what is predictable about it is that that's the pattern of shots that you will get if you swing out to in. Now, having an out to in swing path also changes the low point of the swing. Let me show you. With an in to square to in swing, you'll make contact at the appropriate point, 4 inches inside the front heel, and you can see there my divot is just this side. If I go out to in, that moves the low point forward. Now for chipping, that's actually okay. A bit more steepness means that you hit the ball first, the ground second, and you can get some elevation on it as well. It's like trying to play a flop shot. How would you do it? Well, you go slightly across the ball, you get nice elevation. So because the low point is moved forwards, chipping and short irons are okay. You're playable. You might pull the short irons to the left. You might have deep divots as well because of the extra steepness that out to in gives you, but you'll be playable. Where it comes adrift is when you hit a driver and you get that pattern of shots that we've mentioned. So your game is entirely predictable. The path gives you a pattern, and it's the same for in to out. Now, if you're a bit in to out the other way, then you may well find that you're a very good driver. Fairway wood's good too. In fact, the longer the club, the better you will be. The nearer you get to the green though, wedges, short game, half shots, they will be a real struggle. I once met a golfer on a golf day. He took one practice swing at the driving range and I said to him, "Oh right, you must be quite a good driver." He said, "Yes, I am actually." I said, "But how's your chipping?" He looked at me as if I'd been following him around and he said, "Well actually it's not very good, but how did you know that?" And his problem was that he swung in to out, great for driving, terrible for chipping. Let's find out why. So if you swing in to out and the club face is square at this point, the ball will go straight right. If you roll the wrists, it will hook to the left and you'll create a side spin. And the reason why you'll be good at driving is that it moves the low point back. If I actually hit the ground, coming from here, obviously you can see if I'm going to hit the ground early. For one club, that is brilliant because the low point is here, the club is rising as it strikes the ball. Also, because the ball is forward, I've got more time to square it up, so I can actually hit the ball with the club travelling down the line and the club face square by coming a little in to out. You think of great drivers, or Rory is the absolute best at this, and his swing is a little bit in to out. So that's brilliant for driving. However, you will get, if you do it too much, you'll get a pattern of shots. You could block it to the right, hook it to the left, or with iron shots hit the ground. And that's the bit that into outers really suffer with. It can be devastating for their chipping to chip in the same way. Let's just get into that. Now, if I chip on the same path as I hit with the driver, if the path is too in to out, again, you'll have to trust me that I'm doing it because you can't really see it from that view, but I will hit the ground back here. You can also see it drags my weight and my head behind. So if you're somebody that struggles with chipping, then the place to look is, where is your sternum? If it's behind the ball and it's around, and your swing is around the corner in this fashion here, then you've got a real problem because your club is going to bottom out really low and early. And then you'll either hit the ground first, which obviously is no good, and the softer the ground, the more you'll suffer with that, or you'll miss the ground, but the club will be on the rise as it strikes the ball, and your follow through will look something like this. The club will go out to the right, it might go high, you might rock back as well, but what you've done is you've built in an upswing to the one shot where the club needs to be descending. You can see how the club comes from high here to low there, and the sternum is in front. By swinging into out, this is devastating. So to summarize all of this, on the clock is best. If you want to be good at chipping, iron shots and at driving, then this is the place. The swing has to be a mirror image. It's the same for trick shots too. On the clock back, on the clock down, on the clock through, and also up here as well. If you do that, you'll be good at everything. If you don't, you'll have a strength with driving from here and a weakness with chipping because you'll hit the ground first. If you swing across the ball like that, you'll slice your drives or you'll pull your irons, but you will be a reasonable chipper. So deviating from the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, the horizontal, the rule of parallels I call it, deviating from that gives you strengths and weaknesses and a very predictable pattern. And of course, the problem with that is the pattern is inconsistent. You don't know which of those shots is going to come up, but they will.